Welcome to the Den of Tools.
Howdy ho, guys and gals, it's Red, your friendly neighborhood tool bear, back again here in the old Den of Tools. And today we're here to talk about Ridgid power tools. Yep, remember Ridgid is that Goldilocks tool for TTI between their Ryobi line and their Milwaukee line. It's one of the house brands over at Home Depot. And one of the number one compelling reasons that everyone tells me as why they bought into the line, and everyone else is stupid for not going with Ridgid also, is the lifetime service agreement, aka the LSA. That is the warranty. This is the thing, covers it for lifetime. As long as you own it and you've properly registered, you cross your T's, dot your I's, you got your form and a note from your mother and all that stuff, they're going to cover it, allegedly. We've talked about this before and all that stuff, and a lot of you know how the bear feels about all this. But one of the things is that a lot of people, who just kind of glance at it don't realize it's not just the handheld power tools and stuff and the corded tools, but also the stationary tools, legendary trend-setting tools like the Ridgid oscillating belt sander here. This is something that started an entire trend and changed the way many people look at benchtop belt sanders. There's also the Ridgid, the stationary saws, the miter saws, and even the Big Daddy table saw. Now, of course, this is, one of the two competing for the DIYer prosumer kind of market. You can go out to your big box stores and buy. It's kind of the Chevy to Delta's Ford over here, if you would. And, of course, I've been a big fan of this saw for quite some time. We talked about it. And then earlier this year, of course, we saw this. And at that time, we're like, I don't know, maybe there were some drinks involved and, Romeo and Juliet kind of situation. I don't know. We were kind of confused because it clearly looks like the Delta, but that's Ridgid orange. People were speculating it was photoshopped, all that kind of stuff. But no, we got confirmation. I talked to some of my contacts over at Delta Machinery, and sure enough, they said, for clarification, this is built by our parent company, and they're going to be the new provider for the stationary tools over at Home Depot in Ridgid orange. Now, when was this all going to show up? Well, we kind of speculate on this because, 2021 shipping, container ship backlogs, the whole 9 yards, supposed to start showing up early July. Well, here we are in end of September. A happy fall, by the way, y'all, if you've seen this today. And guess what? I had a viewer send me, this week, showing up in Home Depot. We can see just coming right off the pallet, we got a Delta 15-inch. Now they're not calling it a sliding miter saw. They're calling this is the kind using the tubes, if you can't see it. They're calling it a long reach miter saw. Now the sliding miter saw is the kind using the robotic arm style that we've seen before. And we see that, there we got some, close-up pictures. We're going to show you some more of this kind of stuff. But this is in store right now at some Home Depots. Not sure when they're going to be on the shelf. Not sure when you can buy them, but they're showing up right now. Okay, we can say that much. Now, this was announced as part of Ridgid's next platform. It was kind of a quiet announcement. I know some of the tool tubers have covered this. We've talked about it, but we can see here just in this photo, we've got 3 different table saws, 3 different miter saws, a new oscillating belt sander, and a new planer, which I don't think anyone's really been talking about. But let's jump through some of these because Home Depot was good enough to we had this thing earlier this year. If you followed the whole thing with the flex tools, when Lowe's kind of messed them up by putting it on their website before it was supposed to be available. Well, Home Depot did, not to be outdone, put the whole lineup for the new Delta, aka Ridgid tools out here. So, and I say Delta because it's just easier. I don't remember the name of the parent company. It's something the P or something. I can't remember their name. Anyway, the fact is, this is what we're seeing right now. We got the 10-inch contractor cast iron table saw, $650. That's $100 less starting price. Not even a sale price, less than the old Ridgid table saw. So I'm happy to see that. I love this style of fence, the old T-square, aka Besimir. That's the way I pronounce it. It's wrong. It's clearly wrong. The bear doesn't care. Let's move on. All right. We've got a couple of the contractor, folding job site saws here. One with I think they're both the same saw. We just got different stands. We got the folding saw stand there for $500. We got the hot death spider leg scissor stand there for $350. We also have, here's the first, there we go. We saw this in the pictures in the store, the 12-inch dual bevel sliding miter saw there for $500. Now remember, we see these little Doc Ock robotic arms on this. This is a zero clearance saw. That means on the back of it there, unlike the ones with the tubes, you don't have to stand this out. If you have it in your shop, you don't have to stand this out 2 feet into the room. It'll go right up, flat up against the wall, because it doesn't protrude out the back, because it's using the robotic arm style, very much like the the Bosch sliding saw that we see. Sorry, they call it the Glide, I believe. They're the ones who started the trend on this. There's a lot of different styles of these zero clearance saws. I've covered this before in a video. And as I said, it's nearly identical as far as I can tell, other than being in orange rather than blue. So now you have your color choices when it comes to this style of saw. Of course, you also have it in 10 inch as well for $400. Again, these are launch prices. These are list prices, not sale prices. Prices usually for everyone start high and go down. It's easier for retail to do that, because if they start low and bump it up, then everyone starts whining and complaining about it. Then we got the 12-inch dual bevel. This is their long reach saw. As you can see here, this is using the standard tubes. This is more of the regular design. You're going to have some clearance in the back here, but that's going to get your standard sliding miter saw there. Then we've got this. Now, if you remember, the old one looked like this, and now we've got this thing. I don't know. It looks like they hired some like German industrial designers going for some sort of industrial punk, frameless design. I don't know why they did this. I don't know. Is it cheaper? I mean, I can't imagine it's much cheaper than, doing this whole big plastic frame. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see once some people get their paws on it and see how it performs comparatively speaking. It's kind of cool looking. I do like the nice clean design of the front accessory panel there. Everything's there nice and easy and stuff. I don't know if it's much different than this one. Let me know what you think between the two. I've had this one right here, this specific one, and I've had several of the other ones, and I don't know. I do admit it is kind of hard to reach up under the table and get those out when they're up there. Maybe with having this down lower, and maybe a little more flat there, it's easy to get to. I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And then, as you saw there, we also have the 3-blade planer for $500. I would have liked to see an option with a spiral head. Maybe that's going to come out down the road. I don't know. But again, the whole thing was, when you're buying the old Ridgid, you could get the lifetime service agreement. Now remember, a lot of people like to call this a warranty. It's not a warranty. This is a service agreement, meaning they can change a lot of the stuff after the fact. One of the things they've changed in recent times is they started asking for money up front in case they decided not to cover it, because they think that it didn't deserve to be covered. That's part of the reason they call it an agreement. Under a warranty, you have a lot of legal rights. States have written laws about what warranties have to do, and a service agreement, not using the word warranty, means it gets to avoid a lot of those laws. It's one of the reasons I and many other people have kind of soured on some of the Ridgid stuff. Now, if you go to any of the older stuff and you that's still listed on Home Depot, and you click on the warranty, you'll go to this page here. For reconditioned items, 3-year limited warranty, and the lifetime service agreement. And they say specifically for items that are eligible and yada, yada, yada. If you go to the new Delta parent company made stuff, you get this page instead. 5-year limited warranty. That's it. No LSA mentioned, no LSA offered. I've checked around, I've talked to some people, and I've been told by people over at Home Depot that no, these will not be covered. They're not eligible for the LSA. Do I have an official, from Ridgid contact on this? No, I do not. But as of this filming, every piece of information we have says no, these will not be eligible for the LSA. So if you're buying into them, yeah, you get a nice 5-year warranty, but if you think you're gonna get that fuzzy lifetime service agreement, you're not gonna get it. That said, I've never been, since I bought into the Ridgid line, I learned my lesson about that, as have many others, that the Ridgid lifetime service agreement, they kind of seem to do everything they can to weasel out of that. And I find that surprising, considering that Milwaukee is so good about their warranty. You wouldn't think that TTI would do something like this. Well, part of the reason might be the fact that Emerson is actually the owner of the Ridgid brand. Now, TTI owns Milwaukee, and they have a long-term, maybe even lifetime a license for Ryobi. They're the only people who are allowed to sell it in the U.S. and everything else. But Emerson has a license agreement with them, and they're really the parent company behind that, and they could change a bunch of stuff anytime they want. So I don't know if that's the driving. It's all kind of a I don't know in this kind of case. If you have some speculation or more information, feel free to go down in the comments and let us all know what you know. That said, a lot of people think that I just like to hate on Ridgid. That's not the case. I've been, I've been in the Ridgid family for some time. I currently have some Ridgid products, mostly for testing, comparison kind of stuff, to be honest. But like in the past, I've had this table saw. You've seen videos on that. I've had this table saw. You've seen videos on that. I did a full refurb on this Ridgid bandsaw. You probably saw videos on that. You can see there's like the cordless sander, the old photos from around some of my older shops and stuff. You can see there's a Ridgid impact driver over there. I've been in the Ridgid line for some years. I use the tools. I think they're great tools. I think they're really good tools. They're not the best tools out there. They used to have excellent charging stations. The charging stations have kind of they've gone downhill, let's be honest. But the fact of the matter is that I'm not hating on them for hating on them. I'm hating on them, or not even hating on them. I'm just being honest about some of the issues with the lifetime service agreement, and I'm not the only one. In fact, the guy who broke the news about the whole thing with the new table saw and everything coming from Delta's parent company runs a YouTube channel. That's Spenceley Design Company. I'm going to have a link to his channel, in fact, to one of his videos down here. I've been chatting with him for the past few months about this. We've been sharing some of our thoughts on some of this stuff. He's done several videos on all sorts of stuff. He started off, get this, the guy started off in a one-car garage in an apartment building. All right, he's got one 110 outlet, line, and he's doing all this amazing stuff. Great channel. You got to check him out. Make sure you subscribe to him. Nice guy, and he's very upfront about all this stuff. But he just did an updated video about the saw. Did this ruin the saw? I mean, come on here. And this is the new saw from Delta where he talks about it. But the other thing he talks about is the saw he started with, which was a job site Ridgid saw, which did have the LSA, and it recently died on him. And when it died, what did he do with it? He chucked it in a dumpster. And why? Well, as he says in his video right here, a lot of people were like, why didn't you sign up for the lifetime service agreement? Well, he said his nearest, lifetime service agreement center for Ridgid was 2.5 hours away. It would have cost him $350 to ship the saw. He said, well, I could have also bought the part and fixed it myself. That's easy enough, right? Except the part was $320. This was more than he paid for the saw. And this is what I often talk about. People like to preach these whole things about warranties and whatnot. You need to check out and make sure that warranty is actually going to be usable. If there's not a service, center, like if you're sending off a sander, a cordless, sander or something, sure, you might want to pay the $20 for it. But if you paid $40 for the sander, is it worth it? If you've got a saw, a miter saw, a stationary saw, any of the stationary tools, good luck sending that off that boat anchor, because unless there is a service center down the street, that's not going to work out for most people. Anyway, and this is another thing it brings up, which is all the people who say like, hey, reviewers won't be honest about anything that a brand sends them and stuff like this. They sent him the new saw, all right? He's been very honest about his experience with Ridgid power tools and stuff like this. He likes the new saw, but he was very honest about what happened with him with the LSA and his old saw and whatnot. And as such, we have to give him the 0 ducks given and given an honest review award there. Anyway, that's all the Bear has for you today on this. Is this going to be the end for the LSA? I mean, clearly not for the hand tools and such, but it might show a trend of Ridgid being willing to go with different providers and move away from that LSA agreement. If they're willing to do it with the big ticket items, they might do it with the cheaper items as well. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. While you're down there, don't forget to chomp the old like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell on the way out. You all take care, God bless, and as always, shine on.